So I get questions from filmmakers all the time. How am I supposed to practice lighting my scenes and shooting if I don't have the gear that I need to do it? So today, that's exactly what I'm gonna talk about. Let's get it on! I shot my first feature and I've worked with people like Sean Hannity and Jamie Kennedy. Now I help others figure it out. Let's go. What we wanna do today is talk about how to use this tool to learn how to light your projects, to learn how to position your camera, even blocking, all that good stuff. I got this actually all set up for you guys here. I spent some time getting it done in advance. And right now I have this setting at dusk. I even was able to control, you got this little guy who that you're supposed to be playing, and he can kind of walk around the scene. But technically, I mean, you can use a controller, an Xbox controller, to move this guy around. You can control other aspects. I'm not gonna do that today. I'm just going to show you the basics if you don't have any of that stuff, just if you have a computer. Okay, so I'm going to click on Y, and that takes me into edit mode. And then I can just click on my mouse pad, my trackpad, or I can use a mouse to control where I'm looking at any given moment. I've got this set at dusk, and I've got the sun, basically, I got it way down. So if I wanted to put the sun up, let me see here. I'm gonna go to time of day. So let's just say I wanna do sunset. So now we've got the sun is out, the fog kind of lifted. I had it on twilight, and I had the haze kind of cranked up. You can crank the haze down or crank it up if you want. I like volumetric lighting, and it kind of shows me where my beams of light are going, the angles of the light. If you decided that you wanted your sky tint to be a different tint, you can go through that. If you hit the space bar, that'll make you go up. And you can see that this world is pretty much, the map ends right about here. Control will make me go back down. I'm on a Mac, so this controls will be slightly different on a PC. And we're not really looking at like what this thing's doing more than I want you guys to look at this as a potential tool that if you don't have a lot of gear or you have no gear and you're wanting to learn how to effectively light scenes and understand what light's doing, this is a really good way of doing it because you don't have to do any setup. It's all virtual. You can do it anytime. I mean, there's so many advantages to this, and it's really, I feel like this is kind of the future of filmmaking is gonna be, you're gonna see this a lot more. It's gonna be more and more prevalent. We want to see what the light is doing on the walls behind the characters. We're wanting to see what the light is doing on the characters' faces. And you can see that in this particular example, I set up these two people. And if you don't get anything else from this video, get this. When you are filming a person's face and they are looking off camera at somebody else and it's an over-the-shoulder kind of shot, and they're not facing directly at the camera and breaking the fourth wall, which in narrative, you're not gonna break the fourth wall hardly ever. You're gonna want to make sure that you're shooting into the shadow side of the face. The person that we're looking at, his face, is set up in a similar way as mine right now, where I have a little bit of a purple light in the shadow areas just to lift it enough to give you some more detail. And I have this wall over here. You can see that there's an awesome shadow coming through this window from a light outside there. Let's go outside to see what we're doing with the lights. So I've got 3 lights here. These are floating in the middle of nowhere. Now, if I wanted to add more lights to the scene, maybe I feel like, okay, we could light this a little bit better. Or I want more light to kind of wrap around his face, but I don't want to move any of these existing lights. But see how the shadows on the wall are moving as I tilt this light. You can see even on his face, it's kind of hard, he's little, but even on his face, I'm seeing shadow, and there's multiple layers of light happening. Even when there's a shadow being cast on his face, you can still see that there's ambient light coming through one of those sheer curtains on the wall. So if I tilt this down more, it kind of brings up an extra bump of light. And look at what it's doing on that wall back there. It looks, of course, we wouldn't see on this side of the wall unless you decided, you know what, I want this whole scene to play out where you only see the character's shadows interacting with each other. And so you turn the camera towards this wall over here and you're like only watching the shadows of what they're doing in this moment. as if to show that maybe it's a secret meeting, or you don't want to reveal who it is that are actually meeting, and so you just show the shadows and the interaction between the two. And we'll go into this little truck here, and this is where they have all the lighting. So I could actually add an LED panel, a light dome if I wanted softer light. There's the tube lights. I've got this light. Closer to it so you can see. For the light color, like you may want to mix lights. Like this would be more of a daylight color with a much warmer tone. So you got cooler and warmer tones, and those would work in certain instances. Maybe you wanted to just kind of echo what the LED's kind of doing, and you want to kind of just make it something funkier. You know, it doesn't have to be white. That's the cool thing, is this color palette. Say I want to match the color tone, so that's pretty close in terms of color tones. So let's go back and look at this in camera view. Now that light is a little hard to see, but you can see what's interesting is the outline of his hair is much more visible now because that light is on that wall and it's bouncing off that wall there. So that can be a very easy way, like if you decide I don't want to edge light this character out, but I still want to be able to see where he's separated off the background, and you can drop that light in there to kind of illuminate the wall. So you can see how playing with this tool will really help you to get much better images. I really would like to see this tool go to the next level, and the only way for that to happen is for people to get the word out about the software and more users jump on and start using it more, and giving him more money to be able to develop the project further.